Hello, Jay. Fantastic. In today's very stream, I want to share with you the 4 stages of the higher consciousness. And you might actually be aware of that my last video from I believe it was from last week. I've talked about the 3 stages of the low consciousness, or the low consciousness, the really bad, negative consciousness. Now we have the positive consciousness, the high consciousness, the 4 levels. So in total, you have 7 levels. And when you haven't watched this video, I want to recommend to watch this video so you know from where we're going on. Now, if you watch this video, you're more than welcome. So let's jump in. And as I told you, this information is from me, but it's from VP Coach PhD. According to him, there are 4 levels of high consciousness. Now, without further ado, let's jump in. The first level of high consciousness, or the 4th level in total, is called Naviam Younger Sound. Thank you for watching. It's called wisdom. So you basically are stepping into on the road of spirituality, and you start getting rid of the dualistic thinking, and you start off using your originality. What I mean by it, basically what he means by it, is dualistic thinking is you always thinking like it's yes or not, or when you're in a situation you just have one choice or something like that, or you just have 2 choices saying yes or not, right? This is a dualistic thinking. Something good or bad, this is a dualistic thinking, which is basically also analysis. And what I mean by using your rationality, well, let me tell you that when people choosing anything, they're actually using their rationality for the most part. For example, also, just a small, for example, things like people like Simon Sinek has talked about back in the days, that he has asked someone, hey, why have you been married? And then people start off ask some, hey, because she's beautiful or something like that. And then they're coming up with some excuses and stuff like that just to rationalize their own feelings. But you cannot really rationalize the feelings, they are irrational. And this is what actually make us human beings being human beings. We are not always rational. In fact, when we are just rational, we don't make new things. When we just think rational, we don't go to Mars. We don't go to other planets. We don't explore anything. We don't grow as human beings if we just rational. Rational is just, okay, you have this formula and you keep in the formula. If you have an irrational thinking, if you're rational thinking, for example, you say 1 + 1 = 2, right? If you have an irrational thinking, you're thinking like, okay, 1 + 1 can equal 2, but it can also equal 3 or 4 or 5 or 1 million. Because, someone has originally said that 1 + 1 = 2, but it is not really true. It is not necessarily true that it might be 1 + 1 = 2. It is just everyone agrees on it, okay? You got the point? Always. Nice. Thank you for watching, Soul Splash. So yeah, this is one thing. And another thing that I want to point out is, okay, let's just move to another point. In the next point is you see and remember things in images instead of data. In our information, people are actually remembering things in data mostly. For example, they're making choice based on data. You have, for example, in Japan, for example, you don't let any foreign residents in the most of the apartments because they have some data that people, cause some trouble there, here and there. Therefore, you just say, okay, from the beginning, we just don't let any foreigners in. Yeah, it has nothing to do with racism and stuff like that. People often misunderstand it. This is just a prevention of, of trouble. And Japan is really trouble conscious. They're really conscious of not causing anyone trouble. It's really one of the highest things that they're always thinking about, and has been we're told at school and so on. Don't cause trouble to anyone. This is kind of the biggest rules in Japan. 誰にも迷惑かけないで. This is the biggest rule. And basically, because of it, they don't want to cause any trouble, not for themselves, not for anyone. so they just don't let any foreigners in, so they watch on data. However, if they watched on picture instead of data, for example, someone get, say he look good, he smells good, he has high qualification, stuff like that, and say, okay, I know the data, you're a foreigner, but hey, let me let you in. Because originality says the data might be so, but it's not necessary that the data always says the truth, right? Sometimes the data cannot lie. So, especially in this case, this is often the truth that the data lies occurs. So, in this case, you are seeing things not in data but in images. For example, some people are learning the Japanese characters or Chinese characters by just writing and memorizing and stuff like that. This is learning data. But if you picture some images inside of your mind, when you do it, you don't need to write it over and over again. You just need to write it twice, and then you just picture the story and the pictures inside of mind, and everything just unfolds itself. It's so much easier to remember anything, and you don't keep any unnecessary information inside of your brain. Okay, you know what I mean. Now, another thing is also you don't analyze anything but learn from other mistakes. And many people are used to analyzing things, especially when it comes to NLP and other other techniques when it comes to psychology. They are started off to go inside of someone's subconsciousness. And the thing is, the subconscious is like a black hole. If you go inside it, you can find everything you want. If you want to find something bad, you will find this bad. So why do you want to go in when you can't? It's really hard to go out in the first place. Therefore, every time you try to analyze, you're actually using you actually try to use your subconsciousness and go inside of it and analyze anything. And what happens is you will find what you are searching for. So instead of analyzing, be a spectator and watch what people making mistakes and just don't do them. Easy. You don't analyze anything, you just don't do the mistakes that are this. Easy, right? Now, because it's easy for a human being to watch someone's mistakes and accept oneself, and mostly when you go inside the root of analyzing own mistakes, that you start off having a really low self-consciousness or a low self-esteem. You lower your own self-esteem the more you are analyzing your own mistakes. Because you start off kind of beat yourself up mentally, even it might be on a subconscious level. So it's a really dangerous route to go. I know from what I'm speaking about, I used to do it all the time. And I used to beat myself all the time. Now, this is one thing. Another thing is starts a holistic picture of you start to see the holistic picture of any occasion. So basically, there's something happens, and most people are just saying like, hey, they're watching like the one side or another side, but you see all the sides, and also in between the sides. Okay, you see the whole picture, not just where your light of consciousness, you can see it. You can see consciousness is like a torch, right? And when you shine a torch, this is what you see. But Coach is talking about it's more like a mirror, because it expands and makes smaller bad things smaller. Same thing here. When you see something good, it expands and it goes bigger, and you see the whole picture. But this just happens when you see things without any evaluation. If you see something bad, then it will shrink and you just see the one thing. This is a bad thing. So instead of, you have to see good things and everything. And then, therefore, your consciousness will expand and see the whole picture. The torch becomes bigger and you can see the whole ball of this one occasion. If you imagine this, like an occasion is a ball. And when you put a torch in one point, then you just focus on one point on this occasion. When you put a torch to another point, you focus on another occasion. But what you want to see the whole bowl. Okay? This is what it meant by. Now, the next thing is you understand reason behind it. Yeah, because you see the holistic picture. You see the whole bowl, not just one part, another part, not just this part. You are seeing the whole bowl as a holistic picture of it. Now, and you see the whole world from a third man's perspective. Yeah, you become a spectator basically. What I'm talking about, like 2 streams before, you become a spectator. Yeah. Now, the second thing is, or the second stage is called sage. You are sage. And when you sage, what happened with you? Basically, you're not just stepping on the road of spirituality, but the doors to the spiritual world are wide open waiting for you. And some people, okay, when I go outside the door, I will die. No, it's bullshit. You don't die. Basically, your path becomes your wisdom. The more you go the path on this road towards spirituality, or even beyond it, what happens is it becomes your wisdom. You walk your path and you expand your consciousness. The more you walk this path, the more you expand your consciousness. So this is really where you grow tremendously your own wisdom. And your path becomes your wisdom. Because you walk and you see around you more and more and more and more. And if you depict it as a picture as a tree of life force, you can imagine tree of life force basically. Okay? Now, your words are healing people. It's accepting also yourself, not just you, but your words also help people. They're really healing people. They're like remedies for people, including you. And then you become the source of life because of the words. You become the source of life. And you walk towards a goal, you become source of life. And you drift away from the net of death, which is lower consciousness. And we have talked about lower consciousness the last video, that we have like the 3 parts of consciousness. Is the highest of the lowest consciousness is the lower consciousness. So you drift away from this lower consciousness totally. It dissipates inside of your world. And because many people are still there, they are having this egregor of death, they are fear of death, their souls are afraid of death, and so forth. Now, you are out of your karma. Really important thing. Many people, when you are going towards astrology and stuff like that, they're just showing your path inside your karma. But here in this level, you are out of this karma. In fact, you are that high that your karma cannot reach you anymore. This is how thin your vibrations and high your vibrations are. And frequent. Because you're moving faster and faster inside of spiritual realm. Now, and you walk towards God's realm or spiritual realm. And your wisdom that you expand walking this path leads you there. Your wisdom leads you there. Okay? You're limiting no one, nor yourself. You limit just no one's freedom. Because I told you before, if you limit someone's freedom, you give someone the opportunity or the right to limit your freedom. And this can be even limit your life, aka kill you. And he will be right because you limited that human being's freedom. It's according to the law of the universe. So don't do it. You just get out of it and don't limit anyone's freedom. Really important thing. You start co-creating with God, the creator. You become a co-creator. But first you start a co-creating, but still you are not a pro of co-creator. You're just beginning it. You started off. You are not a pro inside of it, right? You're just starting off doing it. And your logic turns from 2D that I told before, like yes or not, this two-dimensional logic goes to 3D. Okay, no matter what kind of occasion you face, you always has 3 alternatives inside of your brain. You have 3 ways out, 3 things that you can do, at least, inside of your brain, no matter what kind of struggle you face. Okay? For example, you are like, okay, I'm at point of no return. I'm there, I cannot move. Most people will thinking it, but inside our brain you have already 3 solutions, 3 different solutions. This is how your brain works. And you're walking towards a new mirror. What means by mirror is new consciousness. You are always walking the path towards you get there. And the whole process, if you depict it, it's like a bowl of light. A bowl of light. Now, I go to the third one, which is holistic wisdom. The third one is holistic wisdom. Now, you feel it. You feel that your wisdom you get is the biggest love of God. You can feel it till your core self. And your logic turns from 3D, there's a big jump, to 7D. It's a 7th dimensional logic. Again, what does it mean? No matter what kind of occasion you face, you have already 7 solutions to clean it. You're facing the point of no return. Many people will say there's just one way out or no way out. But in your mind, you have already 7 solutions, 7 different, completely different solutions to get out of it. This is how your brain works. Okay? Now, at least 7. Your wisdom is the wisdom of all creation. It is exceeding the creation of Earth and the universe. And it goes deep inside of the roots of the whole creation of the whole living, basically. And you can depict, as I said, your conscious like a torch. You can depict everything with your consciousness. Because your consciousness is enlightening all this wisdom you get. And it's expanding. And the more it expands, the more wisdom you get. And you feel this God is within you. It's starting off co-creation. But this co-creation is not this co-creation where you're just starting off, you have no clue how to do it. No, you already know it. You are like on a middle level how to do it. You are not a master in it, but you are already doing it in a solid way. You're like an employee who is doing it, okay? But there's a difference. You're not just an employee, you're already like a little bit higher than a normal employee because you're already working with the highest species of divine's realm. And not just with them, but with the essence. You're working directly with the essence. What I mean with the essence? The essence who created even God and the universe and everything. Okay? So it's even higher species that you work with. And according to Gotch, PhD, in 2012, all the mankind has to get to this consciousness in order to exist in a new world. What I mean by new world right now is, our world is changing right now and never becomes the same after we are out of this thing. It becomes different. And this is a new world. And to exist in this new world, to the new vibration, to adapt to the high vibrational states, we have to be there. And the thing is, if you are going towards spiritual enlightenment and stuff like that, it is good, because you are one of the 6% who will help the whole mankind to get there. And this is a rule of 6% from the physics. If something gets to 6% higher, then it will elevate also the rest of the 94% to get to this point, when they want it or not. Even they don't want it, it will kind of force it. Okay? Now, this is the third one. The fourth one is called co-creation. Now, I've talked about co-creation a lot in these last paragraphs. However, co-creation is the highest form of consciousness right now, according to God. Maybe there's some higher, but at the moment that I'm speaking, right now, this is the highest one. Okay? Just keep it in mind. Maybe there's some higher one, but not right now. This is the highest, because your consciousness is life. Your consciousness is so big, it is life itself. You have grown so much, it is life, basically. So what you do with God is your partner, is your, you co-create. So you create things, you create new things, novelty, aka, and stuff, and so on. You co-meditate, which is basically being on the same level with him. You are, bringing people to a higher standard and so on, and coexist. You're living the same time as him. For you, basically, time that human beings are currently facing does not exist. You are living the same time as God does. You are still not God, but you are close to him, really, really close. And in fact, when you're at this level, you cannot co-create. No matter what you do, if you're sleeping, you're awakened, you're doing anything, your consciousness is doing the work, and you just co-create 24/7. You can imagine it like, maybe Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer, where Tanjiro has to learn this technique of breathing with the whole body breathing. I don't know what in English is. I just seen it in Japanese, so I don't know. In Zenshin Kokyu. And basically, the other Hashira has to do it 24/7. This is actually what happens with you. You co-create 24/7. It is you're just doing it. Maybe even with your subconsciousness, you're just doing it. It's just on the really on the subconscious level. It just happened. It just happened. Okay? And this really is the highest rank that you can attain in the spiritual realm right now, and also in the society. And if you watch in the field, in the ethereal field of those people, they're depicted as a star or as a sun with wings. And right now, many kids are born with those things. So you can see they has a potential to get there. So as parents, our work is not to harm their own potential, to make them really use their potential for the good of worlds, for the good of the mankind, for the good of life, basically, of the existence. And they have the power. So we have to look out for people who are trying to harm them and trying to get rid of them. So our children don't face those people, and they can unfold their own potential that is inside of them if they are born with those kind of. And many kids are born right now, especially after the year of 2000, and right now also with those specialties. So it's really essential for us to do it. Okay. Sorry, Shipa. I hope you got some value from it. So smash the like, share with your friends, comment box, let me know what's my finger picked up so far. As always. By the way, I know what I've just talked about, some people just don't check it. They just see, oh man, data for later, I don't need it. However, please share it with your friends. Maybe some of your friends might click it and say like, hey, something is there. And right now, especially when you are striving for spiritual growth, I have given you right now the 7 steps how to get there. And then you can analyze, or I mean, analyzing is not good, but you can look where you are right now. Where you are right now, I'm here. Okay, what I should do to get there? How I should behave to be there? Because now you have the whole thing. How you can grow, maybe not the how, but you can see. I mean, the how, it's not good to tell you the how. It's better that you explore the how yourself with your own consciousness, because it might be different in my how. Therefore, I want to leave you this opportunity to explore your own how. However, I have shown you right now where you can go, from which place to which place you can go. And when you're saying, hey man, it's bullshit, yeah, it might be bullshit, but share with your friend, because your friend might find it interesting. And maybe it becomes one of the 6% who will elevate the whole mankind to a new spiritual level. You might be contributing it, maybe indirectly. And this human being might be also maybe inspire you to do the same. Who knows? So you never know what happened. However, don't close this gate for wisdom. For this human being, you might actually help. Okay? The choice is up to you, but I'm just telling you that you might be contribute to the growth, potential growth, not just of the society, but also mankind, maybe of the whole existence. Or you might just block it. How you use it, it's up to you. Hope you all awesome day, and as always, do not let yourself to passion now. See you next time.